What is going on, guys? This is Joseph Collin coming to you guys with this week's AEW Dynamite review from Nashville, Tennessee. The fallout from AEW Full Gear, and man, AEW did not disappoint its fans. It was a near perfect show, in my opinion. It was near perfect. This show tonight from Nashville, Tennessee, out of the first 7 weeks, was my favorite episode of Dynamite so far. The segments were outstanding, the matches were really good, and we got some huge matches announced for next week's show. We're going to get into all of that right now, but before I start this review, we got a little bit of bonus coverage right here on the Big Fight Field channel. If you guys haven't seen yet, Eddie uploaded a video about his thoughts on the CM Punk WWE backstage controversy and what he thinks all about it. So if you haven't yet, go check that out. It was a huge topic in the wrestling community today. Yes, CM Punk is back. I am happy for him, but don't think that he's going to be returning to a wrestling ring, because he's not. He's never going to in his life. He's happy with his role, and I'm happy for him. That's all I'm going to say on that. You got Eddie talking about CM Punk. Go listen to Eddie talk about CM Punk, and listen to me talk about AEW Dynamite from Nashville, Tennessee. So without further ado, let's get started on the show. So, commentary said that Moxley was going to be kicking off the show tonight. And I'm like, okay. So we're probably going to get a promo from Jon Moxley about his match with Kenny Omega at Full Gear. So then Moxley comes out, and all of a sudden, Michael Nakazawa is standing in the ring. And we're having a match between Jon Moxley and Michael Nakazawa. And, this lasted about, I would say, 1 minute with a paradigm shift, and 1, 2, 3. Moxley got a squash match and then cut a really great promo saying he has mad respect for Kenny Omega, and they went to war at Full Gear, and he's the biggest badass on the AEW roster, and nobody is going to be able to step up to him and take on Jon Moxley because he's such a badass. So that will come into play later in the night, but it was a squash match with Jon Moxley and Michael Nakazawa. Great promo, and we moved on to the Dark Order versus the Jurassic Express. Now, I tweeted out before this match that without Luchasaurus and just Jungle Boy and Marco Stunt, listen, they're both fantastic wrestlers in my opinion. I really am a huge fan of Jungle Boy, and I like Marco Stunt as well, but these guys were dead without Luchasaurus in my opinion. They weren't as over as they were with Luchasaurus than without him. So we had the Dark Order versus Jurassic Express, and it was a decent match in my opinion. Solid work. Again, I believe the Dark Order are very underrated as a tag team. I think that they have some solid work in the ring, and people don't acknowledge that, but I do. I'm a really big fan of the Dark Order, and they're only going to get better in AEW. But at the end, Evil Uno takes out Jungle Boy, and then Stu Grayson and Evil Uno do their top rope. I don't know what to call it, but they hit Marco Stunt with their double team finisher, and Marco Stunt eats a pin again, and the Dark Order gets a win. This was a much needed victory for the Dark Order in my opinion, with losses to SCU and then Private Party. They really needed to get a victory against the Jurassic Express, but this part was one of the best moments of the night, in my opinion. We have Evil Uno cutting a promo saying how Marco Stunt is a good wrestler and he's tough and all that. And he gives him a minion mask. And Jungle Boy steps in front of him, takes the mask, throws it at Evil Uno, gives Marco Stunt the Baby Saurus mask, and the minions and Uno and Grayson start beating up Marco Stunt and Jungle Boy, and the crowd is chanting Luchasaurus, Luchasaurus, Luchasaurus. A few seconds later, we hear the Jurassic Express theme music, and it's none other than Luchasaurus, and the crowd was absolutely bonkers for this. Insane pop. Luchasaurus comes out, destroys the minions, choke slams Stu Grayson, gives him a standing moonsault. Evil Uno runs out of the ring. Luchasaurus is back, and Jungle Boy and Marco Stunt needed Luchasaurus now more than they ever did, because they were dead without Luchasaurus, and I'm so happy that he's back tonight. And they got to build up the Jurassic Express now to chase after the AEW Tag Team Championships. I'm not saying they should be the next champions, but you gotta start building them up, because these guys are legit. They're going to be over as heck, and I can't wait to see what they do with Luchasaurus. I'm guessing in the near future we're going to get another Jurassic Express Dark Order match this time, and hopefully the Jurassic Express get the victory, because right now they're 0-7 and they really need a win. But it made more sense for the Dark Order to get the win. This was awesome. The match was solid. Luchasaurus' return was amazing. I loved it. We then jumped into a triple threat match with Shawn Spears, Peter Avalon, and Darby Allin. And I'm like, okay, this is pretty interesting. Let's see where this goes. So it's only a few minutes where, like, Allin... it's only a few minutes where the three are brawling, or having a match. And then Joey Janela comes out, and he takes out Shawn Spears. They're fighting in the crowd, so Shawn Spears gets completely taken out of the match. It's just Avalon and Darby Allin in the ring. Excuse me. Basically one-on-one. And at the end, Allin hits a coffin drop on Peter Avalon and gets the pinfall victory for the win in the triple threat match. Again, solid work, but after the match was the part that was awesome. Darby Allin says, "Jon Moxley, I accept." Wow. And I went crazy for this. And this sets up next week, AEW Dynamite. We have Darby Allin versus Jon Moxley. These guys are going to kill it next week on Dynamite. I can't wait for this. This is money. This has money written all over it. If you didn't see their indie match in June, I forget what promotion it was, but you guys have to go look up Jon Moxley versus Darby Allin. Watch the match, because it was absolutely fantastic, and I can't wait to see what they do on Dynamite next week. That's going to be awesome. We then have a Nyla Rose squash match. She wins in about 2 minutes with a Samoa drop. I don't mean to be rude, but I didn't know who she was facing. At the time, I was paying attention to NXT. I think it was Finn Balor cutting a promo, and then he got attacked by Matt Riddle. So we'll talk about that either tomorrow or Friday. But Nyla Rose gets the victory. She gets a victory under her record, and I'm sure she'll be built back up into the Women's Championship picture. After, though, Tony Schiavone was standing in the middle of the aisleway, and he had an interview with Allie, and she's saying how she loves Nashville and all that stuff. And then a few minutes later, Awesome Kong comes out along with Brandy. They attack Allie. They basically do the same thing to her as they did B. Priestley at Full Gear. They attack Allie. They have the Awesome Kong has the knife. She cuts a part of Allie's hair and she sniffs it and she keeps it as a trophy. So this should be pretty interesting where Brandy Rhodes and Awesome Kong are going to go with this. I would say I'd like to see Nyla Rose step up to Awesome Kong first. I think that could be a pretty decent match with Nyla Rose and Awesome Kong. I would like to see that. We then got into the highlight of the night. The highlight of the night, Chris Jericho, he wasn't the only one, but Chris Jericho comes out for a promo. He talks about how he deserves his thank you from everybody in AEW, like the fans, the production, the talent, Tony Khan, from beating Hangman to Dustin Rhodes to Darby Allin to Kenny Omega and to Cody. And then he talks about how he's Le Champion of AEW, and then a few minutes later, the lights go out. We think it's Cody who's actually coming out, and it's MJF coming out to Cody's entrance and Cody's theme song. Brilliant. That was absolutely brilliant. Another example of how you get heel heat. Fantastic work. MJF then comes in. He cuts a promo discussing Cody, how he's a jerk, how Cody looked at him. He wanted to use MJF as a puppet his entire life. He doesn't give a crap about the fans. The real Cody only cares about himself, and all that stuff. And MJF, man, he's 23 years old, and he's one of the fastest rising stars in professional wrestling history. Not history. Right now, he's one of the fastest rising stars. I truly believe that. And I tweeted it out. Cody and MJF is going to be the best rivalry of 2020. Believe me, folks. Believe me. They're going to have a fantastic feud. It's going to be personal. It's going to be emotional. And I cannot wait for those two to have their match on the next pay-per-view. That's going to be something. We then have MJF and Cody, Chris Jericho having their promo. And Jericho's like, I heard you wanted to join the Inner Circle. And then MJF's like, I heard you wanted me to join the Inner Circle. So they keep going back and forth at it. And Jericho keeps saying, I heard you want to join the Inner Circle. MJF keeps saying, I heard you want me to join the Inner Circle. Do you want to go in the Inner Circle? Do you want me to go in the Inner Circle? Back and forth. It was comedy gold. This was fantastic. And then they both go like, who's the biggest jackass in professional wrestling? And they're going back at each other. And together they both say Cody Rhodes. And they hug it out. And then Cody comes out. And he's got production stopping him from coming to the ring. He's got 8 stitches over his left eye. He looks upset. He runs right past the production, and he goes and he attacks Jericho, and then he goes right after MJF, swinging punches. Jericho's on top of him. He's swinging punches at Jericho. MJF and Cody throws Jericho out of the ring, and then all of a sudden, they've been playing a vignette of him for months. Wardlow comes out, attacks Cody, and is revealed as MJF's bodyguard. I love it. I love the fact that MJF, the heel that he is, the nasty heel that he is, went out and he got himself a bodyguard in Wardlow. Fantastic. MJF tells Wardlow to finish it. He wraps his tie around Cody, swings him over the top rope, and chokes him out for about a few seconds. That's the segment. This was, oh boy, boy. Let me see if I find my tweet. I gotta read my tweet about this. I really do. I want to share it with you guys. Okay, here it is. This is what I tweeted after the segment. This is gold, brilliant, and it gave me chills. From MJF's explanation about Cody and how Cody only cared about himself, the comedy between MJF and Jericho, which was absolutely hilarious, and then the debut of Wardlow as MJF's bodyguard. I loved everything about it, and I really did love everything about this segment. This was awesome. Was this better than the Cody promo last week? It's a tough one. I'm gonna let you guys decide. Leave it in the comments below, or let me know on Twitter. What segment was better? Cody's segment from last week, or this week's segment with MJF, Cody, Jericho, and Wardlow? Moving on, we had Hangman Page versus Pac, the final match in their feud, and the fact that they had to follow this fantastic segment, which I just talked about. They put on a fantastic match following this segment. The fact that they were able to put on a great match following a segment that was so hot and got so over is unbelievable. Like, I gotta give props to Hangman and to Pac. They both killed it in this match. Once again, I love everything about Pac, to his heel tactics, his aggressiveness, and his abilities. Pac is a fantastic wrestler. And at the end, Pac hit the Black Arrow onto Hangman Page, locked in the Rings of Saturn, and Page passed out. Pac wins the feud and the match tonight at Dynamite. Fantastic match. This followed a hot segment, and they delivered big time. So big props to them. Big props. We then got a huge brawl between the Young Bucks and Pride and Powerful. This goes backstage to the parking lot, I think it was. We had Santana jumping off a truck. We had Santana brawling with Nick Jackson. And then Santana threw Nick Jackson into the bathroom door, and standing right in front of the bathroom door was Orange Cassidy. Hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. I laughed for a good few seconds. But the brawl continues after the Young Bucks give Santana a super kick. As we get back to commercial, these tag teams are still brawling on the ring, punches, and then Santana and Ortiz get the upper hand on the Young Bucks. They start taking them out brutally. Santana spray paints a big circle on the stage. Both of them take Matt Jackson, and they deliver a powerbomb through the stage. Exactly the same thing they did to Ricky Morton in Charleston. Then they were going to do the same thing to Nick Jackson until Brandon Cutler comes out. So Santana and Ortiz be like, alright, we'll go back, we're done. And then Ortiz yells out, we lied. They attack Cutler, they attack Nick Jackson some more, and then Private Party comes out and makes the save and ends the brawl. And that leads to a match next week on AEW Dynamite between Santana and Ortiz and Private Party. And that is going to be one fantastic match, and I can only imagine this match happening for the passing of Matt Travis. If you guys didn't know, I'm a huge fan of JD from NY, and a very close friend of his, House of Glory wrestler Matt Travis, passed away this past weekend, and Private Party are really good friends with him, and they're going to do this match for him. This match is going to be for them against Santana and Ortiz, and stuff I really appreciate, man. Yeah, these These guys are going to kill it next week on Dynamite for Matt Travis, and I'm here all for it. This is going to be awesome. Main event time, we have Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara, or as Jim Ross was calling him, Sammy G, versus SCU, and I had a few issues with this match. Yes, the match was good, it was solid work, all that stuff, but this match started at 9:48 p.m. There's no way that a main event World Tag Team Championship match should be 12 minutes. That's just utterly ridiculous. And the fact that we got one commercial with that as well, that's ridiculous. The ending result was Christopher Daniels and Jake Hager getting at it on the outside of the ring. Scorpio Sky kicks out of a code breaker, and moments later he rolls up Chris Jericho for 1, 2, 3, and SCU retained the AEW Tag Team Championships against Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara. Again, pretty good match for what it was, but there's no way that this match should have been 12 minutes. No way. Next time, you have to start it at least 20 minutes until showtime ends, and make it a 20-minute great match. That's all I have to say about that. Besides that, this was a near-perfect AEW Dynamite show from Nashville, Tennessee. In fact, I'm going to go as far as saying this was probably my favorite episode so far. Thank you guys for watching this video. Please let me know in the comments below what you thought about AEW Dynamite tonight, leading into next week. Please like this video with a super kick. Subscribe to the Big Fight Fuel channel for some really great content. We're going to have NXT either tomorrow night or Friday, so stay tuned for that. And with that being said, guys, have a great night.